Alright there, my name's Ragtag and I am the greatest gutter tier gamer on the face of this earth, and welcome to The Cycle. You might not have heard of this title, but today I'm going to walk you through how this game works, but more importantly, tell you a story about how I got embroiled in a vicious grudge match that I may or may not have started. Okay, I probably did start it, but things got out of hand and it totally wasn't my fault, but we'll get to that. First up, I'm getting paid to play this game right now, so I am officially a professional player of The Cycle. So anything I do, you see in this game, it's got hundreds of layers beyond the understanding of a mere mortal. So yeah, thanks to Jaeger, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but that doesn't matter. What matters is, while they are paying me, the good news is that you don't have to pay them to play this game. It's free to play, you download it on the Epic Store, and all the purchasable items that you can get, they don't include any pay to win whatsoever, so calm your pants. It's just cosmetics to flex upon rival players. So let me double check and cover on the basis here. I get paid, you download the game, make me look good, you play for free. Yeah, that's it. Let's get this grudge match going. I was a lowly prospector looking to make some money. I sized up my competition on this massive spaceship before we all got flushed down the toilet and hurled to a nearby planet via one of those pods. Then we would be given 20 minutes to get as much done as possible. With 19 other players landing on this planet, I could avoid them while doing the PvE contracts, or invite one of them to team up and do a pact, or just shoot them in the face. And as I stepped out of the pod, I decided I was going to play it smart and just win by working faster than anyone else. But the local residents wanted a word. Mining for minerals was one of the contracts listed on the left-hand side. Now, the more contracts you complete, the higher your score against the other nublets in the lobby, and the planet is also full of crafting materials that you can forge mighty weapons that are unlocked as well by raising your reputation with a faction. And I chose to fight for the ICA to become the people's champion, and the people don't have a choice in the matter on this occasion. As I glided across the map looking for more of those purple crystals, I realised that these things were like carrots to the wildlife, as they really didn't take kindly to me trying to take them. But any questions they had about why I was doing this were swiftly answered by the hammer. This was going too slowly. I needed a bigger cluster, and just as my eyes claimed a bulging mound of them, another prospector had seen them too. I decided to fire a warning shot and let him know that these were mine.
Alert, engaged by hostile prospector.
Turns out while I was firing those warning shots at Mr. Qmont, he had actually ran up and placed his drill there. Well, pal, it was my drill now. That is, if I could survive this onslaught of monsters first. There were too many of them for me and my hammer. I risked it and I tried to swipe the crystals. Now, monsters are worth money, and once you've got enough of it, you can call down all the weapons and gadgets you've been crafting. I opted for an SN6P. Oh, look, it's a submachine gun, and it felt like I could do some serious damage with it.
Hostile prospector engaging.
I was taking fire, but who was it? And where was that coming from? I just realised that my shields were empty and I'd be at a huge disadvantage in a fight right now. It was time to hide in the undergrowth and find out what I was dealing with. Whoever it was didn't seem to want that fight, but me on the other hand, I take it quite personally when someone shoots me in the back, so I stopped caring about whatever I was doing and winning the game, and I was now on the hunt because I had the sneaky suspicion it could be my earlier rival, Mr. Qmont, coming for revenge. I was gonna end this now. It wasn't Qmont, but as I hovered over the beef meat fist, I knew what had to be done.
Combat alert. Engaged by prospector. Alert. Engaged by hostile prospector. Alert. Fatal wound.
A double KO? Well, that sucked. If I could just survive for 20 seconds without getting slapped by anything, I'd be back up and running. Otherwise, I had a single-use recall, which was basically one more life. Just a few more seconds. Unfortunately, the acid-spitting mobs wanted me gone.
Vital stabilized. Emergency shield recharging. Warning, low health.
So did the other guy. As I lay under the waterfall, wondering if I would fall prey to a beast's fangs or a player's bullet, a sense of peace washed over me, knowing that I could just let it all end right now. However, it didn't end. In fact, I didn't even need my extra life, and another chance to right this wrong would be mine. And as I rose from the cave, and I didn't realise I'd been hit in the middle of that regen, so my shields were still down, but then I spotted Qmont. He had been on our tails all this time and saw the entire fight. I retreated back to the same waterfall. It had worked once before. Perhaps it would again. But this time, I would wait. This time, I would have full shields, and this time, I would emerge the victor. Qmont used his recall. He was down, but not out. This wasn't over. I headed over to gather up some research drones, but it was time to get some extra assistance on the ground. I was becoming paranoid with these other prospectors running around and got myself a heavy turret.
Order received. Heads up.
With the drones gathered up, I set off a signal to launch the drone carrier, but that takes time, and the thing needs protecting, which would leave me open to attack. The ardent hurlers and the spitter creatures were irritated by the noise, but that wasn't the problem. Qmont was back. With no shields and dwindling health, I sought shelter in the wreckage. Hopefully the turret would give the carrier the time it needed. I went back for revenge. Lost sight of him. Where did he go? There. But wait, it was Beef Meatfist back from the dead. Now we had a problem. I was low. Time for a quick shopping trip. Who was that guy? Oh well. Didn't matter to me. Thanks for the weapon, pal. It was time to get a huge pile of those crystals mined, and things were going very well. We'd fought off the attacks, and now I could get back to my goal of completing these contracts. Qmont shot me in the back. I was in bad shape. As I bled all over the place, I remember this being the moment where I stopped caring about the contracts. All I cared about was putting Qmont's head in a spike.
Triage engaged. Triage complete. Recharging emergency shield.
I recalled, and it was miles away from my nemesis. How would I catch up to him now? This place was huge. Running just wasn't going to cut it, and my enemy would probably be on his way to take out another unsuspecting prospector by now. I needed transport, and I just so happened to have the cash to make it happen and call down what we needed.
Purchase order received. Heads up.
Cumont, I'm coming for you. And then I heard gunfire nearby. Was it him? It was. Time to unleash the full fury of the... yeah, I didn't know what weapon that was or how it worked. Popped down the turret on one side and tried to cut him off on the other. The pincer worked. Adios, Cumont. Thanks for the gun, pal. 5.5 minutes left, and I was somehow in 4th place. All I'd done was smash the other players in between doing a few contracts, but I was really starting to enjoy the prospector life. I was also particularly enjoying Cumont's gun. Not sure if it's because it used to belong to him or because it was an absolute monster, but it didn't matter. My job here was done, and it was time to think about extracting the planet, if I could ever get out of the goddamn lake! The landing zone in front of me. Escape was at my fingertips. Now would be a horrible time to start PvPing, as dying here would be an unforgivable thing after all we'd been through. However, the spirit of Cumont remained inside his weapon, and if I died here, I'd be blaming him, that's for sure. A grenade launcher, eh? Well, in that case, who's next? The coward ran to the evac ship, and I decided, yeah, I'd seen enough. 3rd place? I could live with that. I was raring to go and have my next adventure, but ended up having to edit this video. Now that I've done that, it's time to get back into the fray, and if you happen to run into a player like Cumont, you'd be better off just asking them to team up, and then you might actually win something. Now, thanks again to the devs for sponsoring this video. I really enjoyed it, and I think this is a highly underrated PvPvE faction rep-raising royale game. I don't quite know how to brand it, but it's got good combat, decent crafting and gathering, and a beautiful looking season pass with lots of tasty unlocks. Plus, this is definitely a 10 out of 10. I want to get paid again. This is also a game I'm going to be playing more of, so what are you waiting for? Go download it using my link, because you've got literally nothing to lose. Well, I do if you don't use the link. Yeah, take it easy. Catch us on the next one. Later.